The Florida Panthers are back in the Stanley Cup final for the third straight time, and they're seeking their second straight championship. Armando Velez of Locked On Florida Panthers joins us to discuss the series and what it'll take to repeat. All that and more on today's Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Gil Martin here, and welcome everybody to the Monday episode of the Locked On NHL podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On NHL your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts so you get new episodes as soon as they drop. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel customers, new FanDuel customers, can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show a familiar face because he's here all spring and all summer, the host of Locked On Florida Panthers, Armando Velez. And Armando, third straight year in the Cup final. What does that consistency mean to this organization?
Everything, due to the fact that even for 26 years, this franchise went without winning a single playoff round. And to think that the President's Trophy season was just the beginning of it, and to think that you get embarrassed in the second round, and then you make sweeping changes with a superstar player, a head coach, and to think that there were so many growing pains in between everything with just coming down to game 80 in 2023 and then having to rely on the Chicago Blackhawks beating the Pittsburgh Penguins to even get the Panthers in this point. And then the Brad Marchand breakaway opportunity against Sergei Bobrovsky in game 5 when they were down 3-1. There were so many different things in this in these last 3 years that is like, wow, this moment might have been a big jump start for the Panthers to get to this point, and to the fact that they've ridden the momentum. And it's been 3 different stories, 3 different journeys, 3 different types of trade deadlines, 3 different types of fourth lines for the Florida Panthers coming into this. And the fact is that it's the fact that you have a heart and soul guy in Alexander Barkov, a 2-time Vezina Trophy winner in Sergei Bobrovsky into the mix, an experienced coach in Paul Maurice. The fact that the core is still there is the reason why the Panthers are in this position. And man, have they struck while the iron has been hot.
What is different about this team than the last 2 teams that got this far?
I just think that when it comes to it comes down to just the bottom 6 and for the bottom 2 D pairs for the Panthers, because I mean the top 6 and the forward lines are for the most part the same, with just interchanging the wingers from here and there. But you're bringing in the guy in Brad Marchand, who's the Vladimir Tarasenko replacement. I mean, Tomas Nosek was seen as the Kevin Stenlund replacement from the year before. And then at times, Nico Sturm, which in the middle of the postseason, Paul Maurice made a whole fourth line change from one fourth line to the next. The Panthers had a fifth line ready this whole time. And then using the LTIR space of Matthew Tkachuk to acquire Seth Jones in a trade. And whether that means Aaron Ekblad insurance from going into next season, the fact that you have something solidified then and into the future, you're looking at both sides of the equation for the Panthers on just, hey, we want to keep this run going. So that was still once again a really big trade for the Cats at the time. And I mean, just once again, the aggressiveness of Bill Zito, because we saw 2023 trade deadline, Bill Zito makes no moves, not a single trade approaching it, and the Panthers make that run believing in the group. The last year it was the Panthers making minor trades, but this time it was the big splashes, 2 first-round picks dished out into order to bolster this team and to make sure, hey, we don't know what's going to go on come this offseason, because truth is, with there might be a rise in salary cap, but the bill is going to come due with the fact that there's going to be quite a few free agents for the Florida Panthers who might not be here anymore come next year. And that's really the Bill Zito taking this opportunity to say, we have to take advantage of this right now.
We have a 6-day break in between the last game of the conference final and the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Give me an injury update. Are there any injured players out there, and how will this break help them possibly to be ready for the Cup final?
Yeah, Anton Lundell and Eetu Luostarinen did not practice on Saturday. Neither did AJ Greer. Paul Maurice did say that Luostarinen and Lundell are fine. The only question mark is AJ Greer, who missed game 4, returned for game 5, and then did not play in the third period of that game 5. To think that the Panthers went to 10 forwards at the time. Eetu Luostarinen, he was a little wobbly after a hit into the boards in the first period in game 5 as well. So the fact that he's okay is really encouraging. To think that the last time the Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes faced in the Eastern Conference Final, Eetu Luostarinen got hurt in game 4, and he missed the entire final against Vegas, but the Panthers were not winning that series either way, even if they were at full strength. But the fact that they are in a better position now with these 6 days off, it's very encouraging to think that they avoided disaster with the knee-on-knee collision with Sam Reinhart and Sebastian Aho, and they were able to get him back for game 5 to clinch it early. And also Nico Mikkola, he missed game 4, but was able to get back in game 5. To think Sam Reinhart and Nico Mikkola, those are 2 horses for the Panthers. The Panthers have played 310 games in the last 3 years. And I know Mikkola has been only in the last two, but this was really the first season that Mikkola has had significant injuries. He missed about a week and a half in the regular season, and even game 4 in this one. And then Sam Reinhart has not even missed more than a handful of games in these last 3 seasons. So the injury luck has been really on the Florida Panthers side.
A familiar opponent in the final, the Edmonton Oilers, same opponent as a year ago. What concerns you most about facing the Oilers?
It's the fact that their depth is so much better this time around versus last year. I'm not really as concerned as far as the home ice advantage. I know Edmonton is a better home team than they are on the road, but the Panthers have clinched every single series this year on the road. So that for the Panthers, I'm not concerned when it comes to their ability to play in an opposing arena. But the fact is, for Chris Knoblauch to put Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on a line together, and they're still getting contributions from everywhere around the lineup. The Corey Perrys of the world, the Evander Kanes of the world. Pop Colson has contributed in a big moment for the Edmonton Oilers, and the fact that they were without Matthias Ekholm for the first 2.5 rounds, and he just comes back in game 5 against the Dallas Stars. Their blue line has been able to hold the fort, and they're just not. It's not a team anymore that's actually reliant on Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to just go north-south and hope to get a scoring chance while going up the gut. They are actually more of a defensive structured team, and this is what happens when Chris Knoblauch gets a full season under his belt to actually go through the growing pains. They also had a poor start to their season, but they did not have the whole coaching change in their back pocket to use like they did last season. So that the whole getting a full calendar year has really paid dividends for them getting back to this point. And it's only going to be a tougher challenge for the Panthers. But hey, the Panthers are better this year, but the Oilers are also better this year. So it's really hard to know where this the series, the direction is going to go.
Well, last year, 1 goal separated these 2 teams ultimately. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the keys to victory. The Panthers win this series if
they stop the breakaway opportunities, because we saw it plenty, especially in last year's final between games 4 and 6. I mean, the Panthers only had 1 power play goal in this series last year, and they gave up a shorthanded. So their net power play percentage was actually at 0. So that's going to be key for the Panthers special teams and really and the rush chances. And I mean, Edmonton's penalty kill statistically is worse than what it was last season. So the Panthers need to pounce when they do get on the power play. Obviously, getting Ekholm back into the mix definitely helps in that front of battling along those 50-50 battles and clearing the net front. So I'm interested to see how that battle is going to look like. And I mean, hey, top lines usually neutralize the other. That third line, Eetu Luostarinen, Anton Lundell, Brad Marchand, they shine. They've been shining throughout the playoffs, especially in the first 2 rounds. And I mean, they can't have a quiet Stanley Cup final for sure if the Panthers do want to repeat as Stanley Cup champions. And of course, Sergei Bobrovsky, he has to be the key.
Bob, always Bob. How do they try to slow down Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl?
You just got to be able to close your gaps. Easier said than done. And then whenever you see them coming up with speed, don't use your stick. Use your body when it comes to that. And if you could get them on the cycle, the Panthers are very comfortable when it comes to the cycle of the opposition. And for them getting in front of pucks and blocking shots, that's going to be key for when the Panthers are hopefully giving themselves an opportunity for a counterattack, which a big momentum shift in the very beginning of the series last year, game 1. Aaron Ekblad avoids a forecheck, gets it out to Alexander Barkov. McDavid takes a bad angle, and then they're off to the races. Give and go, return feed to Verhaeghe on a 2-on-1, and then boom, they're right there scoring that first goal of the game in game 1. So it's really about getting out in speed whenever you see, even on the opposition, their gaps not being closed well.
All right, Armando, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you on social media?
They can find me personally on X and Blue Sky at MondoMan12. They can follow the show account on X and Instagram at LO_FLA Panthers, and on Blue Sky at LOFLA Panthers. They can follow the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts and on YouTube.
All right, Armando, thanks so much.
Thank you as always, Gil.
Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. And hockey fans, you can check out all the latest odds for the Stanley Cup finals, which get underway later this week. If you're new to FanDuel, this is the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Again, that's FanDuel.com. Place that first $5 bet, and if it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. So make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.